Hello, this is JT Cameron, and I'm doing this screencast-o-matic for the 707 1.3 Lead from the Heart. And I wanted to start with the idea that I think that Mark Crowley did a great job as far as relaying the information in both the webinar we had and the times that I've heard him speak and in the book about how important it is to make a connection with the people that we're passed to lead. Our leaders need to be that, have that connection to basically, in our case, to be transformational. We find it very simple. It's very close to communication when we know that we communicate more than just with our words. We also communicate with our body language, with our tone, the way we receive people, the things are done. That's why when you take that away, you don't get a chance to really be completely authentic. When you text something or you email something, sometimes you allow the reader to decide the tone or decide the context. But when you get to speak to them person to person, face to face, and have that real connection, then they can see better the communication. That's with leadership too, making that lead from the heart, that connection with people, and that people want to know that you care more than they care what you know, which is something that when I was a young my dad used to say to me too, very important for this leadership and the lead from the heart. The case that I think in this case is that it really, as an educator, that's most important. Whether you're a teacher or an administrator, making a connection with the people around you is an extremely important aspect. And when we talk about our connection with students, it even becomes more so because a student, they want more from us than exactly what they always get. So some people say that it's about content, that it really doesn't matter. It's what I teach them. It's the way I teach them. It's the strategy I use. That's the most important thing. And I really shouldn't be getting into the touchy-feely things. But I would argue against that. I would say that the naysayers on that students want to know that you care. They want more than just the motivation of the grade. They want more than just the idea that they're gaining knowledge. They want to please them. They want to please you. They want to learn. They want that connection and relationship, and that fosters a better environment. There are kids who obviously have a really strong connection outside of school who maybe don't need it as much as others, but there are some kids that don't have those adult connections or that sort of guidance, and they really seek that sort of leadership. And I think all kids do to a certain point, and we need to be cognizant. It's extremely important. My transformational change product is about intervention. It's about helping kids who need help. And more important than that, it's not just whether they receive the content, it's the way they receive the content. And when you take time in a structured intervention to reach out to a student and invite them into your class, you take time to deal with them in a more one-on-one and to find out why they don't understand, then you create a connection of that you care. And it has a lot to do with the training that teachers need to understand about understanding why they didn't get it in the first place. Kids bring so much baggage to us that sometimes we need to help get through some of that to make what you're teaching them an important aspect and why it affects their lives. So in my process, it's going to be very important for us to have teachers make that sort of connection in it. And it's so important that as teachers, as leaders, as administrators, as leaders, in my structured intervention TCP, that they get a chance, that we emphasize the teachers about making that connection, about leading from the heart, telling kids why that you think it's important for them to learn the material and that you care about them and you want to make sure and ensure that they've learned that material. Very important stuff to that. I want to talk about a couple different things we want to do. We want to create the idea of people telling their stories about when they make connections. We'd like to hear from kids about the idea. So when I do my TCP, I want to bring in student comments about what's best about the teachers and how they learn best and what it was about making those connections. I want teachers to talk about the impact and how it's gone through and how they make those connections to it in the classroom while doing content. And I want to bring people who've already gone through the process and talk how that impacted them. So it's important for us to basically go through and using those three different areas to emphasize what lead from the heart in my TCP would mean. So I think it's a powerful statement by Mark Crowley, and I want to make sure that we understand that leading from the heart is more than just the touchy-feely. It's about really making that connection and making things work. Thank you very much.